Chapter 1. Overview of Income Tax. Lesson Objectives. In this chapter, we will be discussing on tax, direct tax and indirect tax, Income Tax Act 1961, Finance Act, and finally understanding the income tax. Tax. Tax derives from the Latin word tax. A tax is a mandatory financial charge or some other type of levy imposed upon a taxpayer by a governmental organization in order to fund various public expenditures. A taxpayer can be an individual or other legal entity. The various public expenditures can include education, defense, agriculture, law and safety, and public administration, etc. So, tax is a contribution by the individual for the development of the country. So, a failure to pay along with evasion of or resistance to taxation is punishable by the law. Direct tax and indirect tax. There are mainly two types of taxes, direct tax and indirect tax. Indirect tax is the one which is levied on the income of individuals or organizations. It can be income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, and inheritance tax. It depends upon the status of the person responsible for paying the tax. For example, a person having an income above 5 lakhs per year is liable to pay the tax. So the person bearing the tax is aware of his tax burden. Then indirect taxes. It is a tax which is paid by the consumers when they buy goods and services. It can include excise duties, service tax or GST, and customs duties. For example, when we purchase any consumable, we have to pay GST and it comes under indirect tax. So, the ultimate customer will bear the tax burden, irrespective of whether the person is rich or poor. Constitution of India. It is the supreme law of India. It lays down the framework defining fundamental political principles, establishes the structure, procedures, powers, and duties of the government institutions, and sets out fundamental rights, directive principles, and the duties of citizens. It is the longest written constitution of any sovereign country in the world. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was the chairman of the drafting committee, is widely considered to be its chief architect. Income Tax Act 1961. Whenever any law is made by the government, they should strictly comply with the Constitution of India. The Constitution of India empowers the central government to levy tax on income. By virtue of this power, and to achieve this objective, the Income Tax Act 1961 was enacted in the place of the Income Tax Act 1922. According to Section 1 of the Income Tax Act, the Act is to be called as the Income Tax Act 1961. It came into force on the first day of April 1962, that is, from the assessment year 1962-63 onwards. Finance Act. The Finance Act is an important act in India. Through this act, the central government gives effect to financial proposals at the beginning of every financial year. The act applies to all the states and union territories of India unless specified otherwise. All the governmental financial policies are included in this act. The existing policies, the new policies, as well as any changes made to the existing policies are all included under this Finance Act. The Finance Act renews itself every year. That is, every year the Finance Minister introduces the Finance Bill in the Parliament's budget session. Then both the houses of the Parliament should pass the Finance Bill. The Finance Bill will be assented by the President of India and then it will become the Finance Act. Later, it will be incorporated into the Income Tax Act. Understanding Income Tax Act 1961. For understanding the Income Tax Act, we have to refer together the Income Tax Rules 1962, notifications, circulars, and various judicial pronouncements. First is the Income Tax Rules 1962. For income tax sections, there are related rules. For example, Section 32 of IT Act describes depreciation as deduction from business income. But the Act doesn't describe how to calculate the depreciation. It is clearly described in the Income Tax Rule 5, that is how to calculate the depreciation. Notifications. Notifications are issued by the central government or Central Board of Direct Taxes under the powers which are delegated by the Parliament to these bodies. So, while referring an act, we have to cross-check with the notifications issued relating to this act. Circulars. Circular is a communication from the CBDT which basically serves as guidelines for the better implementation of the law. Such circulars are binding upon the tax authorities. It is not binding upon the assessee or courts. However, to the extent it is beneficial, assessee can make use of the same. Then various judicial pronouncements. Whenever Supreme Court, High Courts and tribunals pronounce any decision in respect of an appeal filed before them, they are known as judicial pronouncements. Any decision given by the Supreme Court becomes a law and will be binding on everyone, namely High Courts, Appellate Tribunal, assessees and the income tax authorities. So in this chapter, we discussed about tax, the difference between direct tax and indirect tax. So you have to keep in mind that it should be noted that income tax rules, notifications, circulars and judicial pronouncements should be considered together while understanding the Income Tax Act 1961. Thank you.